What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of Fresh Gear Fridays. This week is the 2023 NAMM show, and today I kind of want to talk about some of the products that have been either announced or released in the last few days or weeks leading up to the NAMM show. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get into it. The first pedal I want to talk about today is the Peterson Strobostomp HD Mini. And this is a mini tuner pedal that Peterson has announced, and it kind of takes their normal Strobostomp HD and kind of just shrinks it down a little bit, gives it top mounted jacks, which is really cool. And I've really kind of wanted to get one of the Peterson tuners for the last year or so because I really like the big screen it has, and you can tweak a bunch of things with that. There's a bunch of cool tuning things that you can do with these pedals. So this one makes it even, better. The price is a little bit lower. And again, you have the top mounted jacks, which is cool, and it's in a smaller form factor. The one weird thing about it, I think, is that the power input is kind of on the side, which I feel like if you have top mounted jacks, you should have the power on the top. But there is a USB-C port on the top, so I'm not sure if you can power the pedal off of that, but that would be pretty cool. Some power supplies have a USB out that you can use to charge things with, so perhaps you can use that to charge it off of or to power it off of. But what I think is cool about these tuners is the screen and the accuracy that they give you. So the screen, if you're playing indoors, if you're playing outdoors, if you're playing on a bright stage, a dark stage, you can change the color, you can change the contrast and kind of everything to make it, fit the situation that you're in. I've been using the original Polytune Mini for years and years. I also have the Boss TU2. And I've had both of those pedals for a really long time, just for different boards and different setups. And both of them, in certain lighting conditions, can be difficult to see, whether it's super bright outside and you're playing outside or other situations. Have never had an issue with either of them, like their accuracy or anything like that. But again, Peterson's known for their tuning. So I think it's a really cool tuning pedal to check out, especially if you're looking for something with a small footprint and something that's kind of updated. The next announcement that I want to talk about is Walrus Audio has just released their Fundamentals series, and it is actually a set of 8 pedals, I believe, that are kind of more budget-friendly pedals. So the pedals start at $99. There's a few pedals that cost $129. But what you're getting here is super simple, straightforward pedals. They all have kind of a similar layout. They use these sliders instead of knobs, which I think it looks cool. I think it's a cool aesthetic. And possibly you could maybe reach down with your foot and, slide one of those sliders up and down at the top, maybe. I don't know how difficult that would be. But I think they look really cool from what I've listened to. They sound really good. There's a chorus, there's a delay, there's a distortion, overdrive, phaser, and, kind of all of the basic effects that you would want to add to a board. So I think this is very similar to the JHS 3 series. So I assume it's kind of like a competitor to those. But I think they sound really good. I think some of them have some really cool features. Each one of them has kind of this switch that lets you switch between different modes or different clipping or different sounds. I think pedal series like the Walrus Audio Fundamentals series or the JHS 3 series are really great when there's an effect you want to add to your setup that you might not use all the time, so you don't want to spend a ton of money on a more higher end pedal with tons of features, but maybe it's a tremolo or a phaser. You want to get a pedal like that and try it out, see how you like it, see where you might use it in your setup. I think things like this are really great for that, where it's not something you're using all the time, but it's something that you want to try out and kind of get into. But again, I think you're getting a lot for $99 with these pedals. You're getting a pedal that is designed and assembled in the US, and you're getting a pedal that you know is gonna sound good. So if you wanna try out an effect that you don't have on your board, I think this is a really great way to get into it. And also, if you're starting out and you're building your first pedal board, this gives you options for a really great price. Next, I wanna talk about the Universal Audio pedals that were just announced. So Universal Audio just announced 3 new pedals, which are the Max, which is a preamp and dual compressor. And so what this allows you to do is have 2 different compressors. You can select between a couple different compressors. And then there's a preamp circuit in there as well. So you can stack those compressors together. So that's really cool. And the next pedal is the UA Del Verb. And what this one is kind of a delay and a reverb. And it has some of the algorithms from the Starlight pedal and from the Golden Reverb pedal that UA also has. So if you want a pedal that has delay and reverb in one box, I think this is really cool. And the algorithms that they have are proven, you know, they sound amazing. So if you just want those things in one package, I think that's a great option. And then the next pedal they announced is the Galaxy 74, which is kind of a tape echo machine. I believe it's based off of one of their plugins. And so if you want that kind of tape echo sound and reverb, that pedal will give you that sound. So a couple really awesome pedals that they've announced. The one that kind of excites me the most is the Max, which is the dual compressor. So in the Max pedal, you can select between a Dynacomp sound, a 1176 sound, and an LA2A compressor sound. And what's cool is you have 2 sides to the pedal, and one side you can run one of those 3, and on the other side you can run a different one, or you can, you know, run 2 1176 into each other, which is kind of a classic studio compressor setup. So you can do a couple of different options there, and I think all 3 of these pedals come in at $349. So for me, I've recently been thinking about picking up a compressor pedal for my board. I've used some in the past, and I just don't have one anymore. So if you're looking at kind of the higher end compressor pedals, there's the Jackson Audio Bloom. That seems really cool. And I've also been looking at the Origin Effects Cali 76. And so those come right in around the same price as the UA Max. But what's cool is the UA Max, you get 2 circuits that you can stack to get some of those kind of stacked compressor sounds. There's a lot of different things that you can do with it. You can run the 2 compressors in parallel or in series. There's some different settings that you can change using the Universal Audio app on your phone. So there's a lot of options with it. I think the one downfall of some of these pedals is they're kind of in a bigger enclosure and they don't have MIDI. If that is something you're looking for, maybe it's something that Universal Audio will update in the future. But again, that's something that they don't have right now. The next thing I want to share with you that I'm kind of excited for is that Chernobyl Tone, which if you haven't checked out, Chernobyl Tone's channel on YouTube, great channel, has tons of awesome videos comparing pedals, doing shootouts, demoing pedals. But Chernobyl Tone has some really great pedals that they make that I've seen on a lot of people's boards. I haven't had a chance to try any of them, but from what I've heard, they sound really good. And they recently announced 2 new pedals. One which is called the Horsepower, and it is an overdrive pedal that's kind of lower gain compared to some of their other overdrive pedals. I'm not actually sure, but it sounds like with the name Horsepower that maybe it is based off of a Klon. I'm not sure, but sounds really cool. And I just like the way that Chernobyl Tone's pedals actually look. Aesthetically, they look cool. Not that that matters, it might matter to you. And then they also announced an optical compressor pedal. I believe it's just called the Compressor. So the Chernobyl Tone compressor is just a really straightforward optical compressor. It has a blend knob, which is really nice. Some people really want to have a blend knob on their compressor. And talking about the compressors that I was talking about earlier, this comes at $279, so it's a bit lower in price than some of those other compressors that I talked about earlier. So this is another one that I'm looking at. It's kind of like making the decision between, do you want a optical compressor? Do you want a FET compressor? What type of compression do I want to put on my board? So I'm not really sure yet. If you have recommendations for what you like and what sounds good to you, please leave them in the comments. But again, that UA pedal is cool because it gives you the best of both worlds. You can switch between the two and you can also stack them. But the Chernobyl Tone optical compressor looks really cool. So kind of the last new piece of gear I want to share with you that's kind of been announced leading up to NAMM is the Matthews Effects Traveler Reverb pedal. And I think what's unique about this pedal is it gives you 3 different options. You have a shimmer, you have a modulated reverb, and you have a spring kind of, vintage style reverb. And you have all of that in a really small package, and this comes in at just $129. Which is similar to those Walrus pedals that I was talking about earlier. But what's cool about this is it has MIDI. So you have a simple layout and a simple pedal, but you can control it with MIDI. You can have different presets that you select between using MIDI. And you can also, just use it as a normal pedal. Just use it as a simple reverb pedal. So the 3 algorithms, 2 of them, the mod and the shimmer, come out of some of Matthews Effects' older pedals. So from what I've heard of those, they sound amazing. So what you get for this price is really great. I think that's what's really special about it. And the Traveler graphics on it are really cool as well. So what I was talking about earlier with the Walrus pedals, I was talking about it'd be cool if with this simple pedal setup, if they had kind of secondary functions with the foot switch. Well, this Traveler pedal does have that. You can use the foot switch and hold it to kind of ramp the sound, do a couple different things with it, which I think that's really cool. This is definitely a reverb pedal I would like to add to my board. It's just like a simple reverb that has a lot of options that you can do with it. You can control it with MIDI, do a lot of things, all for $129, which is really cool. So that is some of the gear that I'm interested in, that I'm excited for going into NAMM 2023. If there's something that was announced that you're excited for or that you're interested in, leave a comment below and let me know what that is. If there's something that I missed that I should check out, please let me know in the comments. But thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one.